So what we can use move for is we moved it from one location to another, but we also use it to rename files. So um, I'm going to do a listing here, and let's cat file one. All right, so there's Latin in here. So what I'm going to do is file one's not very specific. Maybe I just want to rename it. So the way you rename files in Linux is with the move command. So there's no rename command here. It's just simply use the move command, and we're going to say move file one, and I'm going to call this Latin file one. And when I hit enter and I do a listing, we can tell that file one was updated to Latin file one. So you can rename it whatever you want to. Now there are special characters you should avoid, on the file system just because they have special meanings. But typically dashes and underscores perfectly fine and acceptable. Avoid using slashes, dollar signs, things like that. We'll get into those details eventually. But for now, as you can tell, I'm just using alphanumeric characters, so lowercase a through z, capital A through z, numbers, and dashes and underscores. Those are very safe and fine to use on the Linux system. So we just went ahead and renamed the file using move. Another thing we can use move for is it also renames directories. So copy can copy files and it can copy directories, but you need a flag. With move, that's it's a little different. You just use move to rename a file, and you just use move to rename a directory. Like I said, you're not actually changing the location or anything. It doesn't really matter about the difference between a file and a directory when you're renaming. So we will do. Let's go ahead and rename my temp directory to, right? Maybe I meant to say let's make that my temp directory backup, right? So I'm going to say move my temp directory to, and I'm going to specify my temp directory, and I'll just do dash BAK because it's a directory. Typically, I like to have files with a dot, just because a lot of people recognize that as a file with an extension, and then directories don't typically, or don't have extensions actually. So I'm going to just rename my temp directory to my temp directory dash BAK. So hit enter, and when I list it, we can now see that my directory was renamed. We didn't get a warning like we did with the copy command, which is nice, but that's another way to use the move command to rename a directory as well as files.